UFC is back at the Apex for just the most Apexy card you've ever heard of. The co-main event features two guys with losing records in the UFC. What are we doing here? But as always, plenty of money to be made. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, we got Danny Barlow taking on Sam Patterson. So Barlow is 9-0. That is 2-0 in the UFC. Patterson is 12-2-1. That is 2-1 in the UFC. Barlow, obviously undefeated, so he's won 9 straight fights, 6 of those coming by finish. Patterson has won 2 in a row since losing his UFC debut. Barlow, just 29 years old. Patterson, still just 28 years old. I'm taking the over 1.5 here. It's minus 105. A little risky. Probably could have got it at plus money, but I'm going to parlay it. I'll get to it later. Barlow's hit it in 4 of his 9 pro fights, but he did hit it in both of his UFC fights. And Patterson's hit it in 4 of his last 7 fights. So I don't feel so confident here, but I really didn't feel confident taking either money line, guys. So I was like, fuck it. Let's take the over under. If you guys are looking for anything else to take, how about Danny Barlow money line? You'd have to parlay it. He's minus 300, but he's undefeated. He's looked really damn good. 5 of his 9 wins have come by KO, and Patterson was KO'd in both of his career losses. Also, majority of Patterson's wins come by sub, but Barlow has 100% takedown defense in the UFC so far, so who knows if he can even get him to the ground to win. If you want a little extra on the over, you could take the over 2.5. It's plus 150. Barlow's only hit it 3 times in his 9 pro fights, but he did hit it in his last fight. And Patterson's only hit it twice in 15 pro fights, so really not worth the price there. And if you like the dog, Patterson money line plus 260. Barlow has 100% takedown defense, as I mentioned, but Patterson has 100% takedown accuracy. So if he can get Barlow down, he could probably finish him. His last 3 wins have come by sub, and his last 5 have come by finish. Only caveat, Barlow's never been finished, let alone even lost a fight before. So there's that. Next fight of the night, we got Haider Amil taking on William Gomi. So Amil is 10-0. That is 2-0 in the UFC. Gomi is 14-2. That is 4-0 in the UFC. Amil is undefeated, so he's obviously won 10 in a row, 7 of those coming by finish. Gomi, on the other hand, has won 12 straight fights. Amil, 34 years old. Gomi, still just 27 years old. So I'm going to take the over 2.5 here. It's minus 265. I'm going to parlay it with the over 1.5 in Barlow. Patterson gets us plus 169. Nice. Amil's hit it in 3 of his last 7 fights, and Gomi's hit it in 4 of his last 5. And that lone outlier of Gomi was 10 seconds away from hitting it. So he's pretty much hit it in 5 straight fights. All right. If you guys are looking for anything else to take, you don't feel as confident in the 2.5, you want a little extra off the top, take the over 1.5. It's minus 380. Amil's hit it in 4 of his last 7, and Gomi's hit it in 5 straight. Another prop I like is William Gomi by decision, minus 115. 3 of his 4 UFC wins have come by decision, including his last win. And Amil has never been finished before, or let alone lost before. And if you like the dog, Haider Amil plus 190. He's undefeated. Finished both his UFC opponents. Gomi has good defense, but he doesn't land that often. Haider lands 3 times the amount of strikes, so it's possible he outstrikes him to a decision or maybe even gets a late KO. Hopefully late, because we got that over 2.5. All right. Next fight of the night, we got Austin Lane taking on Mario Pinto. So Lane is 13-5 with 1 no contest. That is 1-2 with 1 no contest in the UFC. Yes, you read that correctly. Pinto is 9-0. This will be his UFC debut. Lane, I mean, he's only won 2 of his last 5. Pinto, obviously undefeated, so he's won 9 in a row. 6 of those coming by finish. Lane getting up there. It is heavyweight, though. 37 years old. Pinto still just 26 years old. I'm playing it safe here. At least I think it's safe. A fight does not go the distance. It's minus 400. I'm going to parlay it. I'll get to it in a little bit. But 18 of Lane's 19 pro fights have not gone the distance, and 6 of Pinto's 9 pro fights have not gone the distance. That is 86% combined. Another prop I like is the over 1.5. It's minus 105, so you'd have to parlay it. It might go up to plus money, though. Lane's only hit it once in his 4 UFC fights, but it did come in his last fight. Pinto's hit it in 4 of his last 5 fights, so he tends to go a little longer. If you like the favorite here, Pinto money line is minus 370. Obviously, parlay that. He's 11 years younger. He's undefeated, and he's gone 5 rounds before, and Lane, usually cardio is an issue for him. He's also not beaten anyone currently on the UFC roster, so Pinto might be able to just run right through him. Speaking of running right through him, Pinto by KO, another prop I like, minus 140. You'd have to parlay it. 5 of his 9 pro wins have come by KO, including his last win, and Lane was KO'd in all 5 of his career losses. Yes, all 5. Next fight of the night, we got Nasrat Hakparas taking on Esteban Ribovic. So Hakparas is 17-5. That is 9-4 in the UFC. Ribovic is 14-1. That is 3-1 in the UFC. Hakparas is on a 4-fight win streak. Ribovic on a 3-fight win streak. Hakparas still just 29 years old. This man has been in the UFC since 2017. Kind of crazy. Ribovic, 28 years old. I got to go with the younger guy here. I'm riding with Esteban Ribovic, minus 238. I'm going to parlay it. I'll get to it in a little bit. But yeah, he's riding the momentum. He's coming off that big win over Zellhuber at the Sphere. That was like fight of the year, by the way. Dope fight. He's got a super active fight style. He's landed over 100 significant strikes in half of his UFC fights. And Nasrat, he is on a 4-fight win streak. But 3 of those wins came against guys who are winless in 3 of their last 4, and the 4th guy just retired. So, I mean, who the hell is he really beating on this streak? Nobody. That's who. If you guys are looking for anything else to take, I also like the over 2.5 here. It's minus 225. I almost took this instead of Ribovic money line, but I settled on Ribovic money line. Hakparas has hit the over 2.5 in 10 of his 13 UFC fights, and Ribovic has hit it in 3 of his 4 UFC fights. Another prop I like, Ribovic by decision. It's minus 110. 2 of his 3 UFC wins have come by decision, and Nasrat has lost by decision 3 times, including his last 2 losses. And last but not least, if you like the dog, just take him by decision. Hakparas by decision plus 350. 5 of his last 6 wins have come by decision, and Ribovic has never been finished before. His lone loss came by decision. Co-main event. Yes, the aforementioned both fighters with a losing record co-main event. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. So Brundage is 10-6 with 1 no contest. That is 4-5 with 1 no contest in the UFC. Marquez is 9-5. That is 3-4 in the UFC. Can't make this shit up, guys. Brundage is winless in 5 of his last 7. Okay. Marquez has lost 3 straight, all by knockout. Solid co-main. Brundage, 30 years old. Marquez, 34 years old. So I'm playing it what I think, again, is safe here. Fight does not go the distance, minus 400. I'm parlaying it with fight does not go the distance in Lane Pinto and Ribovic money line. Those 3 together get us plus 122. 14 of Brundage's 17 pro fights have not gone the distance, and 12 of Marquez's 14 pro fights have not gone the distance. That is 84% combined. Another prop I like, and this one's plus money, guys. Fight end by KO, plus 165. I like this one a lot. Half of Brundage's wins have come by KO, and he's been KO'd twice before. 6 of Marquez's 9 pro wins have come by KO, and I already mentioned he's been KO'd in 3 straight fights. If you like the dog, I mean, dude, it's so hard to pick either guy money line here. They cannot be trusted. But if you like the dog, Brundage money line plus 136. He's been way more active. His entire 17 fight pro career has come in the amount of time that Marquez has only had 5 fights. He's not good. He's really not good at all. But Julian's chin may be cracked. I mentioned he's been knocked out 3 times in a row. He's also not won a fight in 4 years. So Brundage seems like the play here. If you do like Marquez, though, take him by finish, minus 145. All 9 of his pro wins have come by finish, and Brundage has been finished 4 times. Jesus. Main event, Manel Kape taking on Asu Almabayev. Was originally supposed to be Manel Kape versus Brandon Royval and Steve Erceg versus Asu Almabayev. They did the old switcheroo here. Manel coming in 20-7, 5-3 in the UFC. Almabayev is 21-2, 4-0 in the UFC. By the way, did pick Almabayev to be the dark horse fighter of the year on MK. So if he wins this, I mean, he's well on his way there. Kape has won 5 of his last 6. Almabayev has won 17 straight. Both these guys, 31 years old. I mean, I just told you I'm picking him to be dark horse fighter of the year. So you know I'm riding with Asu Almabayev money line here, plus 225. Dude, he's gotten 18 takedowns in 4 UFC fights, and Kape was taken down in his last 2 losses. Also, 9 of his pro wins have come by sub, and Kape has been subbed twice. There's a clear path to victory here. Probably goes the distance if Almabayev gets it done, but either way, could get the finish as well. I like him here a lot. If you guys looking for anything else to take, how about the over 2.5? It's minus 275. The line is set at 3.5, by the way, but I can only go off to 2.5. Both guys have hit it in 3 of their last 4 fights, so there's a chance. Fight does not go the distance is minus 140. 19 of Kape's 27 pro fights have not gone the distance, and 13 of Almabayev's 23 pro fights. That's 64% combined.
I'm worth 100,000 like Woodrow. When a ball call me Wilson, going overboard at the Hilton.